What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is December 28th. Got 3 days left of this wonderful year. We're just going to enjoy it to the best of our abilities. For those of you that don't know, that haven't watched the podcast of mine, my name is Chris Drummond. I'm a sports reporter here based out of Minnesota, also sports broadcaster and podcaster as well. And this is the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. I typically bring on guests who are likewise like myself, but also different as well, because this is about a podcast learning about not only what people do, but who they are as individuals. So, with that being said, I got my girl Charlotte coming on here. She is a freelance copywriter and writer. She's a journalist. I'm a journalist. So we're going to talk about her why she wanted to get into journalism. We're going to ask her some questions about her profession, what she likes to do. And yeah, we're just going to have a good time getting to know somebody new and networking and building a connection. So without any further ado, I bring to you the wonderful, talented Charlotte.
Hello,
Hi, Charlotte. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks, and yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. First of all, I just want to say thank you for dedicating your time to me. I really do appreciate it hopping on my podcast. How was your Christmas? What you
Well,
got any plans for New Year's?
yeah, it was wonderful. I'm currently traveling through South America. So I was in Peru, and for New Year's, I'm going to Buenos Aires. So I'm very excited.
Okay, that's what's up. I like that. That's what's up. That's awesome. I'm glad you had a great Christmas. Glad you are traveling. Glad you're doing that. That's awesome. Before I start peppering you with questions, let me explain or reiterate once again why I wanted you on my podcast. So I do know that you're a writer. I believe you're freelance. You've been a journalist. That's the same as me. I'm also a sports journalist. I want to talk to you about different things that you write about. I want to
Mhm.
talk to you about your why did you get into journalism? I want to talk to you about some choices as far as you going to the University of Cape Town as well, picking that as your college, and just have a really good conversation about mental health, work life balance, and then journalism in general. Talk
Yeah,
to you about some things that you write about and what you do on a day to day basis. I thought it'd be cool to learn from someone who's in the journalism business like myself, but doing it overseas, right? So that's pretty cool. And it's different from doing it in the States. I'm based here in Minnesota. So
mhm.
that's what I wanted you to hop on my podcast and talk about.
Sounds great. Hopefully, I can learn from you too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. It should be a great conversation. So, without any further ado, let's get into your why, right? And that's always my number one question with every guest I have on here. What is your why of getting into journalism? Did you have any journalists growing up that inspired you, that motivated you, right? Did you have any role models? And talk about where did you grow up at?
Sure. I guess I have a few whys, and somehow my whole story, everything pushed me towards journalism. I grew up very far from you. I'm from a small island close to Africa called Reunion Island. So it's a French overseas department. It's close to Mauritius, if you see that on the map. And so growing up, my brother was a journalist, a sports journalist. So he was writing for the newspapers, the local newspapers about soccer mostly, but also golf and tennis. And so already there's a journalist in the family. And when I grew up and I had to think like, what do I want to do with my life? It was a bit confusing. I know I liked writing a lot, and I didn't want to write. I didn't want to work, sorry, with numbers. I'm not bad with numbers. I'm not bad with
Right,
numbers. Just I don't like them.
right, right.
I like words better, I like words. I like to write, and that's the best way for me to express myself is
Sure.
writing.
Yeah.
So when I studied at university, I didn't do a journalism degree. I did something more general. And that's when I realized with a course, a specific course, Introduction to Journalism, that that's what I want to do. My why would be telling stories, telling other people's stories and making a difference for them, giving them a voice. That's what I liked about journalism. That's what attracted me to it. And obviously writing. So writing is my passion. I do that today as a freelancer. And these are my three whys. So my brother, writing, and telling stories.
I love that, and I can just hear you talk all day long. I love your accent. I really do.
Oh,
I can hear you. I love it. I really do. That's amazing. No, that's really a good why. Everybody who is a journalist loves telling stories.
for sure.
Love telling different kind of stories. I like doing feature story writing. Obviously, I got into sports, and your brother, I would say, got into sports because we love the game that
Mhm.
we cover. We love the competition. We love the wins, the losses, all of that. So that's great that you have those kind of whys. And shout out to your brother for being a sports journalist. I love that. That's amazing. So that's
Sure.
pretty cool.
Mhm.
Okay, you went to the University of Cape Town. Now, did you ever, or I should say, was there ever a time that you wanted to come over to the States and see how the States was, or did you just want to? Was that your one university you wanted to go to, and you were set on going to there?
Yeah. So that's a very good question because actually my goal, my dream was to go live in Vancouver in Canada. So close to you, but not exactly.
Right,
Uh,
right.
and that's what that was very far for me, right? So back then, when my dad had to pay for my studies, it was like, this is kind of expensive and far. I will never see you. Like, it's the other side of the world, compared to where I grew up. So
Absolutely.
my goal was to learn English because I'm French, and my goal was to learn English because I know in this world that you need English. And being bilingual opened doors for me that changed my whole career. So I knew if I just spoke French, that will just keep me in France, if you know what I mean. And that's not what I wanted to do. I like to travel. I wanted to travel for work as well. So my goal was to first learn English, and that's why I went to Cape Town because Canada was far and expensive to study.
Mhm.
And that was the more affordable choice. I had extended family there too that helped me to move there for my studies. And
Sure.
by the way, my mom still lives there, so it's like a second home.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that. And I totally understand about moving from home. I don't have any family here in Minnesota, but
Okay.
my mom is in Georgia, and my dad is in upstate New York. So I
Mm.
definitely understand about that. And the cost, obviously, when you move out of town, it's expensive to go to some of these schools. No
Yes.
question about it. No question. So I'm happy that you stayed in town, went to the University of Cape Town. Uh, Bonus question: how many
Mhm.
places you traveled to, and what is the next, like, what is that a bucket list place that you want to travel to, and why?
Okay. So I'm currently in Chile. I'm going next to Buenos Aires. So this was always on my bucket list. Like Argentina was always like a dream for me, and I'm definitely happy that it's finally happening. It's gonna be the start of a great year. I've been to about I'm gonna complete soon 29 countries.
Wow.
So that's great. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
And my studies even brought me away actually. So when I was studying at the University of Cape Town, I did a semester exchange at UBC in Canada. And that's
Right.
when the first time I went to North America. And from there, I traveled throughout Canada and I went to the States for the first time. And that's when I started like, let's say, grew my horizons and go
Mhm.
outside. And that's when I also knew I wanted to move to Canada and be based there. So now I live in Vancouver.
Okay, I like that. All right,
Mm.
and I love Canada, by the way. Obviously, my dad is very close to upstate New York. I'm drawing a blank here. Canada. When you go on a ferry boat, the ferry boat ride. Are you familiar with
Yeah,
that city? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I went to that last year, and I did that, and I thought that was pretty cool, seeing
For
something different. I also been to Toronto. I think Toronto is a really, really good city.
it is.
No question. I had a lot of fun there in Toronto. That was a family trip as well. I'm interested in going to Vancouver. I've never been to Vancouver. I definitely will have to hit you up if I ever go down there. That's for sure.
Mhm. It's definitely worth it, I promise. And
Okay.
Montreal, if you've never been to Montreal, I suggest you go to Montreal. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely have that on my bucket list as well. Love Canada. No doubt about that. Charlotte, I want to get into some favorite things with you, okay? So what I'm
Sure.
gonna do is I'm gonna ask you some favorite questions, and you just tell me what some of your favorite things are based upon these, okay? Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. Favorite meal you like to cook?
But I like to cook curry.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
spicy food.
You like a little spice with your food, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like rice and beans and spicy curry. I like to cook that at home, yes.
Hey, that that waters my mouth, Charlotte. I like me some curry. I'm telling you, that's pretty good. Okay, all right. Favorite concerts you've ever went to?
That was Muse, you know, the rock band.
I
And
do. Yeah.
I went to see Muse in Paris at the Eiffel Tower. And that was absolutely amazing. Like
Mm.
incredible. Like, you know, like the music goes with the light of the Eiffel Tower. That was one of the best concerts I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, I actually got a chance to do they call it out here event security
Hmm.
for Muse. Muse came and performed here or performed in the States. I was living in Georgia at the time. They came and it was just a bright show. It was a bunch of lights, it was loud, it was music, but it was a good show. It was different. I never heard of them before prior to
Hmm.
that. So it's pretty cool.
Hmm. That's
I
my
like
best.
that. Okay. Favorite concert. I like that. I like that. Okay. Favorite sport you like to watch on TV?
That's gonna sound very girly. Like, gymnastics.
Okay.
'Cause
That's okay. That's all right. That's totally it's a sport. And I
yeah,
respect those gymnasts, right? Simone
sure.
Biles, she can do her thing. There's no question
Mhm.
about it.
I
I
mean,
like
they
that.
are impressive, right? Do you see the things they do with their bodies? It's quite impressive. Like I'm like,
It is
wow.
impressive. Yes. Yes. That is an athletic sport. Yes, gymnastics. No question about that. Okay. All right. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
That's a tough one. If I have to choose
No,
one,
I know you said 29 countries you're about to complete. So give me
yeah,
a favorite place.
I would have to say Cape Town, South Africa,
Mm,
where I
okay.
studied. It was amazing years, amazing. Like I was young back then, and I had the chance to spend a few years there, and it made me the person I am today. It's amazing people, amazing food. The weather is great. It's cheap. Go visit.
Okay. All right. I like that. All right. Last of the favorites. Okay.
Mhm.
Favorite holiday movie.
Favorite holiday movie? Uh, that's a tough one.
Oh yeah, it's making you think a little bit, Charlotte. I like that.
I think like it's a classic. It's a Love Actually with like
Wow. Okay.
it's an old one, but I love this one. It's about
Okay.
I don't know if it's holiday, so it's mostly couples. Me
It's
I think
definitely a rom com. That's no
it's a
question
rom.
about that. Yeah, it's definitely a rom com, but yeah, I think it came out during the holidays. So well, technically we'll do that. There's no doubt about that. I'm a
Yeah,
Greatest Showman. I don't know if you know about that, but The
yeah,
Greatest Showman is actually
great
one of my
ones.
favorites.
Great one.
Absolutely. So that's one of my favorites for sure. Okay, I like that. Very good answer, Charlotte, on that for sure. Let's talk about your day to day. I want to know when you wake up, what do you do as a freelance writer? What are some of the things that you write about?
Yes.
And tell me about a couple of different pieces that you wrote that you consider that's some of your favorites to write.
For sure. So as a freelance writer, since I started this year in March, so it's kind of a new thing for me. On a day-to-day, I search for clients. So I reach to people trying to sell my service because it's still new and I still trying to grow and find clients. So for example, one of my favorite piece I wrote, so I write monthly for a coach. She's a coach for B Corp. I don't know if you heard of that. So she's basically helping companies to become certified by B Corp, which means they are green and helping the how do you say that?
Mm.
They are not greenwash, but they are basically respecting the environment and
Okay. Okay. Environmentalist?
yes, I read about this and I found it very interesting. And I started doing this. It's been like 4 or 5 months now. So I write monthly for her. And I'm
Okay.
learning every day. So it's nice because it's also writing about something that is helping a cause that I appreciate, something that I stand by and aligning with my values. So I like that a lot. And I also learned a lot by writing about this because it's a topic I didn't know about when I started writing about this. So it's like constant learning by writing about this. So it's very interesting.
Okay, I like the fact that you said you get on LinkedIn. So
Mhm.
how much time do you actually, or what should I say, how much time do you spend on there trying to look for clients and trying to pretty much um, sell yourself, right? To be able to sell yourself and say, hey, I could write about this, I could be your writer for this and such and such.
For sure.
What is your sales pitch and how long do you spend time on LinkedIn doing that?
For sure. So to be honest, at the moment, because it was Christmas and New Year's Eve, I'm not doing it right now because I'm taking a few days off because it's the holidays.
Sure.
But when it's not the holidays, I would just like 3 or 4 days per week, I would spend an hour every day trying to reach out to people. And it's very important to do it regularly when you start because what you're missing is people not knowing about your services. It doesn't mean you don't have anything to offer, it's just people don't know about it if you
Right.
don't talk. So you have to sell yourself and like post on LinkedIn, but also reach out to people and say like, I like what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Maybe I can help improve because I'm a writer. So like I can write for you and write, for example, blog article for your blog. You will gain time and this will bring value to your brands, etc., etc. So you have to explain to the potential client how your service can help improve their brand. You know what I mean?
Right.
It takes to gain someone's trust, like to gain someone's trust as a client. So it's a whole process of learning how to do it as well. I'm still learning, but that's why the more you do it, so like 3 or 4 days per week, 1 hour per day is important because you also learn how to do it better and better every time, right?
Absolutely. No question about that. And kind of how I like to do this podcast. I know I cold email a lot of people as well, letting them know who I am, why I want to reach out to them, and stuff like that. And it's the same process, right? You got to be able to stay on it because you just never know who's going to respond. You're definitely going to get a lot of no's more than yeses, but all you need is a few yeses, and that's for sure.
That
Uh,
is,
I love that. I do love that about that. Got to be relentless and stay on it. So yeah, 3 or 4 days, 1 hour a day. I like that.
yeah.
But like you said, you just came into the freelance, and you was a journalist for a company, if I'm not mistaken, before you did freelance. So I want to ask you about um, mental health and work life balance. And the
Oh, I'm
reason why I
glad.
want to ask you, oh, you're great. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy that you are happy about this topic because this
Yes.
is such a big topic for a journalist, but people in general, right? Because you know that mental health is now becoming more important. It's more prevalent in our society.
Yes.
Burnout, overworked and underpaid are words that are being used in our journalism
Yes.
media, right? Is being used in that. So how do you deal with mental
Yes.
health, but also work life balance? Like, how do you deal with that?
So to answer your question, I'm gonna go back a little bit into the past. So not long ago, this year when I started freelancing. So
Sure.
basically, I was a journalist for over 3 years, almost four actually. I started working for this company, great company. I really enjoyed my work. I was working in Montreal, in Canada, and I was very passionate about what I was doing, and it is the job I wanted. So I applied. I think I applied. They told me later I applied like 9 times for the job. So I was
Wow.
like, this is for me. Like this is happening. It's also a journalist job.
Right.
So I really enjoyed it. By the end, though, I was struggling with consistency and mental health because it was very intense. It was a media online, so I was writing like 3, 4 articles per day, and it
Okay.
was very. I was very like I had a great team, and they were all very supportive. But it was challenging to write 4 articles per day. It's like, you constantly like you don't even have a breather. And it's like you have to write as much as you can, but that's also how the media industry is nowadays. So you
Right.
just have to deliver, 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 even if sometimes you're writing trash, you know what I mean?
I
The
do. I do.
quantity becomes more important than quality. And that's something I didn't really like at the end, and I lost kind of passion to, because you'd like, well, I'm writing trash. I'm just delivering its quantity, but at the end of the day, what am I writing about? Like,
Right.
and somehow it's never enough for your boss. It's never enough, because it's all about KPIs, readership, and I respect it though. That's the way the industry is. But
Yes.
that's also when I started to think maybe I should change direction and consider something else because the journalism industry has changed and maybe it's not for me anymore. Because I've always been a journalist, but there's other things to try, right? I'm still young and my career is just starting. So that's actually when I was starting to think about doing something else. And at the beginning of the year, I actually got laid off by this
Mm,
company. And not just me, it was a whole group of journalists, actually.
sure. Sure.
Um, and it's also because there was this new legislations in Canada. It affected our work very much. So I forgot the name of the bill. Let's see something. But basically, you were not allowed to publish news article on social media anymore. So it was kind
Ah,
of blocked on social media. So people could not click on them. So no more readership, right?
right.
And just because of these legislations, they're saying it's to fight fake news, but in my opinion, well, I have a different opinion. We're trying to silence
Hey,
the media.
that's okay. Speak on it. I'm with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very controversial topic in Canada, but it happened, and many people lost their job because of this.
Right.
Because no more readership, no more money, then they don't need you anymore. So that's
Right.
what happened to me. But to go back to mental health, I was at a point where I was thinking about doing something else and I got laid off. It was sad at first, but also I was like, well, maybe it's the perfect time to try something else, right?
Sure.
And I saw this course online at the same time. So it's in French, but doesn't matter. It's a course for freelancers. So people who wants to become independent. And it was quite some money, but I did apply because I was like, I need some guidance because I don't know where to start. Like I know how to write for sure, but I don't know how to sell myself. Again, how to sell myself, who to approach, where to approach, how to improve my LinkedIn for a freelancing profile.
Right.
So I did this course. And it really helped to beginning and launch my freelance career. And here I am today. Still growing, still not where I want to be, but I do have clients. And I started this year and I'm happy with where am I so far. And I'm sure it will keep on growing.
But see, what started out as an unfortunate thing turned into a blessing, is what I really take from
Exactly.
that, right?
Exactly.
Uh,
That's it today.
absolutely. And it's a question worth asking, right? Your mental health does get affected when you get laid off because you're like, wow, I
It
finally
was
get to the point where my dream is here. And it's like, oh man, they just laid us off now. What do I do next, right?
it was horrible because I was like, but I'm not just gonna play the victim because many people did, not just me. That's why it's hard too. And
Right.
they even laid off people last year just before Christmas, like it's super tough because you give it all, you give your best to the company. And for sure, I understand if they say to you that it's not enough, okay? But as I think like as long as you try your best, you know that you tried your best and that's it, right? You can't
Mm-hmm.
you can't give your whole person to the company. At the end of the day, it's still a
Sure.
job. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
No, absolutely. And once again, to reiterate, it's a question worth asking because people that want to get into this business, there's a print side, there's a broadcast side. People sometimes see just the final product of what you do as far as your writing goes, whether they read it online or in a paper, but they don't know about all the behind scenes stuff that you have to deal with, right? Nobody
For
knows that you have to write 3 or 4 articles a day,
yeah,
right? They just see the articles in the paper, but they don't know the time that it takes to write those articles. It takes a lot of time.
that's absolutely true. And as you say, like there's different mediums. I was first for a few months doing some videos for YouTube. So it was like a YouTube channel of news media for a small community in Quebec. And that was great. Like it was easy job, because it's a small community, very small media, but like lower pay. And at the end
Right.
of the day, you still need to pay the bills, right? So you reach for something bigger. I moved to the bigger city, being Montreal. I finally get the job in this company that I loved. And it was great. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed my time there. No regrets at all.
Sure.
But honestly, I'm glad it ended when it ended.
Yeah. And you brought up another point before I move to this next question about the
Mhm.
pay. Journalism, when you first start out, is definitely not great pay. Everybody knows that. But I think the misconception, in my opinion, is that you can't receive money from this industry. And I think that's a misconception because I think when you go up in markets and cities, I do think that you do start earning good pay.
For sure.
Depends on how hard you work and how willing you are to stick with it. Because like you said, it could have been a crossroad where you could have went somewhere else into a different direction and did something else. But you were able to get blessed with another opportunity with your move. And now you're doing freelancing and now you have clients. And I'm sure you're going to get plenty more clients in the near future because you're good at what you do and you're sticking with it. So I like the fact you brought that up. People need to know you got to stick with something. If you're really passionate about this business, this is the only way you're going to be able to thrive is to be able to be passionate about it because the money's not going to be there as soon as you like graduate college or as soon as you get into your first job. It's just not going to be there.
Time. It takes a long time for sure. And like again, I'm very thankful for journalism because it brought me where I am today. I wouldn't be doing freelancing and writing independently if I didn't do journalism before. Like it's
Right.
a whole I'm building and building every year something
Sure.
new. It's all thanks to journalism so far because that's what I've always done before.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
prior to me getting this full-time opportunity in Minnesota, where now I cover 12 high schools, a college, games, uh, coaches, write feature stories. I was doing it game by game in Atlanta. I was doing it 3 years. So this is kind of like my fourth year doing it, but I was doing 3 years part-time to where I was working at another job, working overnight, but also covering games on Fridays. So I would
Yeah.
work 9 to 9 at my job and then Fridays, I would leave there, go cover the game, go straight to my other job, work 9 to 9, and then be able to write my stuff on deadline and do that. So again, got to show the passion for that to be able to do that. But yeah, I love what you said. Hopefully, once this is posted, if people decide to look at this, they can be able to see what you're doing, see what I'm saying, and be able to understand what journalism is all about. So, with that being said, though, I want to transition to this or that, Charlotte. Okay. So basically, what I'm going to do, so I'm going to throw two things at you, okay? You choose one or the other. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to assume that you've had these places. Do you know about Popeyes? Do you know about KFC? They're both chicken establishments. Do you know about it?
I just know KFC. I heard about Popeyes, but I never went there. Also, I don't eat meat, so
You, so you're a vegetarian.
I am a vegetarian.
Okay, okay. So no meat. I got you. Okay, so here we go. I love that, by the way. I love that. Let me ask you this first question. It's about music.
Okay,
Okay. Which artist would you rather see in concert? Would you rather see Beyonce or Taylor Swift?
Beyonce.
I like that. Okay,
Yeah.
Beyonce. Okay, off to a good start.
Mm-hmm.
Which artist would you rather see in concert? Would you rather see, I would say, Breaking Benjamin, or would you rather see Maroon 5?
Maroon 5.
Oh, I like that.
And
Okay,
I
okay.
saw them. I saw them in concert, so it was amazing.
It was amazing, right? Yes, I have too. Great, great band. One of my favorites for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll stay along the same line of music. Which
Mhm.
music artist would you rather see in concert? Okay, would you rather see J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar?
Kendrick Lamar. He's
Ooh,
cool.
okay, okay. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. I love both of them, by the way, but I like that. Okay, that's what's up.
Mhm.
Which sport would you rather attend live? Football, Americano football, or
Mhm.
basketball?
Basketball. NBA.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
You have a favorite team?
Um, well, I'm not American, but like I went to see the Chicago Bulls, and it was my first NBA game, so I have to support them. And I mean, they won, like it was an amazing game. So since that day, it was such great memories. They are my team.
All right, I like that, Charlotte. We're gonna be good friends. Basketball is my favorite sport. I like that. That's awesome. Okay, which sport would you rather go play? Would you rather play badminton or bowling?
Badminton. I don't like bowling. So
Okay,
boring. Oh my God.
that's okay. That's all right. I like that. I like that. Here we go. Which place would you rather visit again?
Mhm.
Okay. Would you rather visit Africa again or would you rather visit Paris?
Wow, that's hard.
Yeah, yeah. I knew it.
Okay, that's a very tough one. But if I
It
can
is.
only choose one,
Yep. Only
but
choose one.
Africa is
Go
Africa.
ahead.
Africa.
Africa?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Now listen, here's what we'll do. 51% goes to Africa, 49% goes to Paris. How about that?
yeah, yeah. Sounds good.
I know it's pretty close. I get that. I totally get that. Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this two more on the this or that. Okay.
Okay.
So which TV show would you rather watch?
Mhm,
Okay. And assuming that you know these TV shows, but they're pretty popular.
mhm,
Big Bang Theory,
mhm.
or would you rather watch Friends?
I love both of them, but I would choose Big Bang Theory. I love both of them. Honestly, like I love both, but like Big Bang Theory, I watch it like 100 Friends as well, but like Big Bang Theory. The
Uh,
jokes, that on point
yes,
always.
yes, absolutely, Charlotte. I absolutely agree with that. Like I said, now I know we can be friends for sure. Because if you didn't like Big Bang Theory, we're gonna have to end this podcast episode. We just gonna have to do it. We're just gonna have to do it.
It's the best.
Big Bang Theory is the best. Okay, last one. This is about music. Okay, again,
Mhm,
which
mhm,
concert would you be willing to spend your money on to go see? All right,
mhm.
would you rather go see David Guetta or Kygo?
Oh, jeez. Ahem. That's also a tough one. But
These, I'm asking some really good questions. I like that. Okay, all
you
right.
know, that's tough. But I will support my French buddy, and I would say David Guetta.
Okay,
Like if you
that's my guy.
yeah.
That's my guy.
Love song.
I've been waiting, to be honest with you. I don't know if you ever been to this festival or ever heard of it. It's called Tomorrow World.
No,
Uh, okay, so you haven't heard about it.
Tomorrowland?
Oh no, not Tomorrow World, Tomorrowland. Yes.
Yes, I heard about it in Belgium, yeah, for sure.
Yes. It's a huge music festival, like crazy type.
Yes,
And that's on my bucket list to go. I really want to go there.
me
Because I
too.
love music and I love DJs. David Guetta is one of my favorite. Kygo is too. I like Avicii as well. Avicii is good.
Yes, yes, of course.
So yeah,
Awesome.
yes. So I'm a huge music buff. So yes, I love that.
You
Okay,
have
you
good
did pretty good.
music.
You did pretty good on this or that, Charlotte. You really did. Okay. So let me ask you, what is your, I know you like doing freelance right now, but what is there any possibility that you may join another staff in the print side or the broadcast side that you want to do in the upcoming years?
Okay, so you mean in terms of
Like your
being on
goal, like what is your goal in the next, like, I would say 3 to 5 years?
for sure. Definitely it will be to be entirely independent, so writing and having my own business.
Oh,
I'm a lot into like social media content creation. I'm not an influencer. I'm not gonna pretend I am, but that's something that I love. It's like
okay.
creating
Okay.
creating short videos like about traveling, always about traveling and writing. So if I could keep doing that and maybe make it work, that would be fantastic as well. Writing and social media content creation for sure. That's what I like. That's what I enjoy doing, like
I love
videos,
it.
filming. Yeah.
No, I love that. I do. And the fact that you've been to almost 29 different countries, that's
Mhm.
amazing. I wish you come over here to the States because it'd be a pleasure to absolutely meet you and say hello. Because that would be awesome. But
The
I love
States.
what
Anytime. I love the States. I haven't been to Minnesota though, but one day.
well, I'll say this. Don't come here in the wintertime because it can get cold. If you're not a cold person, this ain't for you. That's for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. It is freezing when it gets to the cold sometimes. So I'm not even a cold person, but I love sports so much I decided to come here because I came
Of
from Atlanta, Georgia, which Atlanta's very hot. So
yeah,
you know what I mean. So I totally understand that. What is some advice
yeah.
that you have received from someone, or advice that you have given someone yourself?
About a career or in general?
Both. It could be about journalism or in general.
Okay. The it's gonna sound very cliche, but it's an advice that in my course of freelancing, it's an advice I was given by my dad. So it's like something, it's never like formulated the same way, but it always comes back in my life somehow. It's don't ever give up. Don't
Mm,
ever give up. Like keep going because it can take one day, it can take 1 year, it can take 10 years. But if you keep going and if you don't give up and you keep obviously believing in what you're doing, it will happen. It will work.
mm. Very
Yeah.
simple. Very simple. Yes, that is very cliche. You probably can read that off of a fortune cookie. No question about it. But that is definitely some great advice, right? Don't ever give up because it can get tough. It can get tough in this industry. It can get tough in life, but it's
Agree.
about your character and how you bounce back, in my
Mhm.
opinion.
For sure.
I like that. Okay, okay. Now, Charlotte, I need you to name two other people that you think would be very good guests on this podcast that you think would be great to talk to?
Oh my God, that's tough. Does it have to be like famous people or like people I know?
No, people you know. If you know any famous people, that's great. But people you know just in general, that would be amazing.
I would definitely recommend some colleagues I had. So, because I like the fact that you're talking to a journalist in different countries, so you have different perspectives, you know. So I would definitely recommend this colleague I had. We were working together in Reunion, and she's French too, but she's from a different island. Her name is Jadine. I could give her a
Okay,
contact if you want. And she's now also traveling. I think she went to Asia. She's also like at this step in her career of journalist where she's going towards something else. So
sure.
from what I understood, I don't want to speak for her, but like I think she would be great to talk about it too because she's also always been a journalist. She's been to journalist school in France,
Mhm.
and now, well, the whole industry is changing, and I think she's also looking at other things. That would
Okay,
be a great guest.
I like that.
A second good guest would be my former colleague in Montreal blog. He still works there and he's a great journalist, great writer. His name is Mike. And it's like full
My
of
brother's
life.
name. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so that would be a great perspective as well to have. He still works for the media I used to work for, and he's killing it. Like he's a great journalist. I don't know how he does it. Like honestly, it's very impressive. So that would be someone great to interview as well.
I like that. Mike, and you said her name
And
was.
her name is Jadine.
You said Jet.
Jadine, yeah.
Okay, okay. I like that. Those are two great people I would love to have on this podcast show. I normally conclude by, but this is the bonus question. I normally conclude, but this is the bonus question. I want to know if Charlotte wasn't a freelance writer or doing writing, what other occupation would she do and why?
Okay. Before I wanted to become a journalist, so that was a long time ago. I wanted to be a vet because I
Oh,
love pets. So it's entirely different. I know it's entirely different. I love pets, especially dogs and cats, obviously, but all kind of animals I love.
sure.
And
Yeah.
that was the goal when I was much younger, because I love animals and I wanted to help. But when I discovered the kind of studies I had to do and that you have to kill them sometimes, I was like, I couldn't do that. I like, nope, nope, that's not for me.
I
But
know, I understand. It's emotional to even put a pet down, right? And then you start talking about killing it or if it died. And then I love pets too. I'm a huge dog lover. My
Mhm.
mother's a huge cat lover. I actually bought her a cat last Christmas.
Wow,
Surprised that. Yeah, yeah, I did.
that's amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't have any dogs in my house right now, but I am a dog lover. I was going to ask, do you have any pets in your house?
I wish I had some, but like since I'm traveling a lot at the moment, no. Because if I have a pet, I want to keep my pet. I don't want to give it to other people to watch, and take care of.
Oh,
So,
oh yeah, yeah. No, I was talking about where you live, your normal house in like Canada. Do you have any like?
and no, I don't have a pet at the moment, but it will be something soon. Like soon, I want to adopt one, a cat.
Okay, okay, I like that. I like that. Well, this is the question that I normally ask to conclude my podcast. Once again, it's been amazing, Charlotte, having you on. I love
Thank
what
you.
you're
Thank
doing.
you.
I'm gonna follow you and do and watch you do what you do best. Is there anything else you would like to add before we conclude?
I want to ask you a question, actually, if that's possible.
Ask away. Come on.
How did you get the idea for this great podcast, like going around finding journalists and, how did you get the idea and where does that come from?
So basically, what happened was, as you remember, we had a pandemic, right? It was
Yeah.
in 2020. And at the time, I was going to college and I was a senior in college. And I actually withdrew from my classes. And I was sitting at home, right? Because we all were. And I was just wondering, like, this is the profession I really want to do. And I was only doing stuff in college, but we were closed. So I reached out to different publications and showed them the things I was doing in college. Well,
Yeah.
two publications came back to me, and one of them said, "We don't have anything for you right now, but we'll keep your file on here." I was like, "Cool." And then other publication said, "Hey, we'd like to use you as a stringer, sports correspondent, and start writing for some of our games." So that's how I got on with that. But then I also started thinking about the idea. I interview coaches and players, and I'm like, what can I do to tap into journalists, not just locally, but also nationally, like CBS, ESPN, but also internationally as well. Then it started to expand from, okay, I'm a journalist, but how do we expand it to different genres, right? Not just sports, but news, entertainment, lifestyle, stuff like that. Then it expanded from that to how do we talk about different occupations, right? Because I want to learn about different occupations and what different people do. How do they deal with things? What are some of the things that they have to deal with? And that expanded to police officers, nurses, people in the medical field, people also in the music industry, and stuff like that. So I said, let me think of a podcast of a name. I said, work hard, play harder. Well, that's kind of how I live my life. I like to work hard. I certainly like to have fun and play harder. So I do like to do that. So all that, combined was the reason why I started the podcast. And it started off very slow because I was like, okay, I'm cold emailing people, right? And I know everybody's not going to respond. And that's fine. It's not discouraging at all because I totally understand. But the people that have responded have been so great and so good. And I just wanted to keep going and keep going. But through all that, I had to kind of be like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to talk to different journalists, then talk to different journalists in different genres, not only different journalists, different genres, but different occupations as well. Because I want to know as many people as I possibly can. And I wanted to create this platform to talk to wonderful people like yourself and all of the guests that I had on here. Because getting to know you guys, not for just what you do. Because I know as a journalist, it's not easy. People think it's easy, but it's not easy. So it's very hard. And when you're writing on deadline, it can be even harder. When you don't have all the sources and information and you try, it's just hard. So I wanted to create a podcast to kind of give not only people a voice, but people to explain, hey, I go through this, but I love what I do. But understand this is what I go through. And if you want to do this, I can talk to you about it as well. Because there might be some questions that people ask. That there might be some questions, that I've asked that people want to ask you differently. Like when they talk to you, right? But when they see this, they'll say, oh, well, I might want to ask Charlotte that. Kristen asked her that. Or something like that. Or I want to connect with her because her story is like mine. Like I'm a journalist overseas too. So that's another reason why I wanted to create the podcast.
That's great. Thank you so much. That's amazing. I can't wait to listen to more of the episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I normally put them on my YouTube. I drop them on my LinkedIn as well. So yeah, we do have more episodes coming up. So I'm excited about it. But yes, once again, you and I would definitely stay in touch. You are absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Charlotte, for coming on. And you enjoy the rest of your Thursday, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.